Lord and Lady Hardcastle request the pleasure of your company at a masquerade ball celebrating the return of their daughter Evelyn from Paris. Celebrations will take place at Blackheath House over the second weekend of September. Owing to Blackheath's isolation, transport to the house will be arranged for all our guests from the nearby village of
welcome to this. I don't usually read this part. Okay. I'm sorry. Hello, and welcome to the Senior Detectives Podcast, a cozy corner to talk about mysteries of all kinds. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Hannah. Today we will be covering the 7 1/2 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, a 2018 novel by Stuart Turton. We'll start today with a brief summary of the opening chapter. You come to in between footsteps, in the middle of yelling the name Anna, and realize you are not in your own body and that you don't know whose body you're in, where you are, or even who Anna is. You hear a woman cry for help and give chase toward the sound before you hear a gunshot cut off Anna's scream. Afterwards, in the silence, as you're frozen in fear, a voice behind you drops something heavy into your pocket, whispers, "East," and walks away. You think to yourself, I'm a man in purgatory, blind to the sins that chased me here.
I love that line.
It's so good. We'll talk about it in the non-spoiler section. But that's a line.
I will say, for anybody interested in mystery novels, we're obviously going to talk a little bit spoiler-free and then definitely get into spoilers. But I will say for this book specifically, my advice is to go in completely 100% blind. Don't even read the back. Don't even listen to what we think about it. Just go read it with knowing absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Did you go in that way? Or what did you know?
I think I had read the back cover.
Okay.
We were just talking about is quite spoilery, actually. Like, even what's the information given on the back cover to kind of set up the plot of the book, or like the gimmick of the book, quote unquote, is you don't learn that until a ways into the book. So it's still kind of spoilery.
Right. It's information you don't get until several chapters in. And I think not knowing what's going on is part of the whole experience of this book.
Yeah.
I also went in completely blind. I knew it was a mystery novel, and I knew that I had seen like 2 or 3 TikTok creators say that they were reading it and enjoyed it. I try not to look up blurbs from books because
they give away too much
too. Like, yeah, I try to go in as blind as I can, and it was worth it for this one, I will say.
Agreed.
So yeah. We're gonna have a short non-spoiler chat because this one's really hard to talk about without any spoilers at all.
It is. It gets too spoilery too quick. Like, it's not like it gives away the ending or anything like that. But I mean, from literally the first sentence, you have no idea what's going on. So
it stays that way for a long time as well. So it's the not knowing what's going on is part of the reading experience for this book. That first chapter is, I think, a really good hook. Like, you are just plopped literally right in the middle of this man's day into his body, and you don't know what's going on or anything, and you don't even really remember who you are. And amnesia of a kind where it's like you don't even know yourself and you don't know any of your surroundings either or recognize anything. And it's just, it's very jarring, but it's so captivating right away.
It is. Honestly, even just the invitation. And like even before the first chapter, I was hooked.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
It's good.
Here we go.
It's good stuff.
I guess, should we go over kind of what the back of the book says?
Sure. Yeah. If you want to jump off and you want to go in totally blind, bail now.
This is our recommendation. It's an amazing book. I think you will enjoy it. But we're getting slightly spoilery now. Not full, but
yeah. So this book is structured in a way where you wake up each day at this estate called Blackheath in the body of someone new every day, essentially. You are living a full day in each of these people's shoes. You don't know who any of them are, and you don't know who you're going to be put in, but you're living the same day over and over again.
Yeah. So like the worst possible version of a Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you keep getting visits from a man in a plague doctor costume, like, you know, with the ones with the beak bill masks.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells you eventually, this is what we said, this isn't until like your second body that you wake up in that you get this information. So that someone will be murdered at the ball that you go to that night, but it won't look like a murderer, so the murderer won't be caught. So he says, rectify this injustice and I'll show you the way out, which is a crazy cool concept. I love it. I love it so much.
Solve a murder. The murder happens at 11 p.m. every night, and you're going to be living the same day for 8 days, but you'll be in the body of someone new for each of those 8 days. Yeah. He also says, if we fail to solve the murder, our memories will be wiped and we will start this whole process over from the beginning again. From host number 1, which is not stressful at all.
No, yeah. And he warns us of someone called the Footman. We do not know who the Footman is because our memories have been wiped and we don't know how long we've been doing this.
Mm-hmm.
But just hearing the name is terrifying to all of our hosts, is what they call them, the bodies that you wake up in.
Right. Yeah, it like evokes terror in you, but you have no idea why or what this person even looks like or who he is, but it's terrifying regardless. You have a full day in each host, and there's like a caveat to the way it works where like if you're in host number 1 and that host falls asleep to take a nap, when you go unconscious, you wake up as the next host. Say host number 2 dies. You don't move on to host number 3 if host number 1 has not finished their day. So like if you can go backwards and continue somebody else's day, you will. But if not, you'll move forward to your next host. And it's very confusing.
It is
and
very confusing. And
oh my God.
In that way, it does not happen chronologically. Even it's not like 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day. It's like 1/2 of 1 day, 20 minutes of another day, the end of another day. Like it's a lot.
You jump around a lot because people are, falling asleep, passing out, getting knocked unconscious, getting beaten, dying.
Yeah.
So anytime anybody loses consciousness, you jump.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time you jump forward, but if there is a host in your past that didn't finish their day yet, you'll wake up as them again before you can move forward. And it's so it's a lot of back and forth and jumping around, and it's hard to keep track of at first, but I feel like by the time you've jumped like once or twice like that, you really start to kind of get a grasp on.
Get used to it.
Yeah, like who we're in. And like when somebody's chapter ends, you're like, okay, I know they're not done. We're going to be coming back to that later.
Yeah.
So it does get easier to follow, I feel like. And the confusion is, once again, I think part of the reading experience for this book.
Yeah, I will say I let this book slosh me around with absolutely no idea what was happening until they literally told me what was happening.
Yeah.
And I was there for it. I loved every second of it, which is crazy because I'm usually like, I have a theory. I have a new theory. My theory has changed. Oh my God, I just want to know the answers. But this book was so pleasant and fun to read because you're put in these characters and there's like a teeny little voice in your head that is your true self, like not who you're in the body of that day. And so he's like viewing these characters from that perspective as he's living as those characters. And it was so well written and it was so interesting to read this perspective, like a third person perspective of the character that you're first person in. It was so cool. And I just did not care that I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. That sounds about like my experience too. You're just kind of hanging on for dear life. And it's not like it's hard to follow, but it's hard enough to follow where you struggle to really put your own theories together unless you're stopping and taking notes and stuff. Like, because trying to keep all of this tracked is so difficult. And your host struggles with it as too. Like, it's a lot, but it's a fun ride.
Fun ride.
Yeah. So this was my second time reading this book. I read it like 3 or 4 years ago. And I really bounced off of the ending the first time.
I could see that.
It didn't sit right with me. And then I enjoyed it a lot more this time. I don't know if it was because I knew what the ending was and what was happening. So it wasn't as jarring. But I think that's my one negative thing I'll say about it that really is good to know before you start is that like I did bounce off the ending the first time and it brought the rating for me down a little bit. But the second time I rated the book higher. So
yeah, I would agree.
And it was a fun reread.
Yeah, I think the reread is also worth it because he really foreshadows a ton. Like I highlighted some passages that I want to just mention because it's like directly telling you what is happening. And yet I didn't think of it literally once.
Nope.
So
within the context that you have no reason to take that any other way. I know some moments you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think we have to get into spoilers.
Yeah. Oh, I did want to mention that Blackheath to me seems like a more realistic version of Nancy Drew at Castle Malloy.
Ooh,
it's kind of what I was picturing.
I think in my head I was picturing is it Pemberley from Pride and Prejudice? Mr. Darcy's big estate is like the way the house looked in my head.
But
with
in
these
ruin.
Like really sprawling lawns. Yes, but the house itself is like not well kept and it's kind of falling apart. But like just in general look, that was what I had pictured.
It's a cool setting.
It is.
And I would love to see it adapted to the screen.
Yeah, we saw that I guess Netflix had picked this up a few years ago and said, oh, we're going to make like a 7 or 8 episode miniseries, which would be
perfect.
Perfect format for this.
Yeah.
Perfect. Like a day in each host.
Yes.
And like maybe one extra episode to like wrap everything up.
Yes.
It would be such a good format for this story. But apparently they dropped it again. Netflix was like, actually, nah. And like they're not, so far at this point, not going to move forward.
What are you doing? This is like written for a TV series.
It really...
I feel like it could perfectly translate.
Yeah.
And it would be so cool, so vibey. Anyways.
I want it. If I had money to throw around, I would throw money at it.
Okay. Spoilers. Here we go.
Official big spoiler section warning. We're going to kind of just go through each of the hosts and kind of chat about how we feel about them.
It's one of those stories that every little thing matters and comes back in some way at some point. And because it's not chronological, it's there's no way.
Us trying to give you more than like a little bit of context would be like, let us sit you down for 5 hours and talk through this plot.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of the woods when you wake up, and he eventually walks east per his instructions and arrives at the actual estate, and upon entering the house finds out his name is Sebastian Bell and he's a doctor.
He gets thrown into the deep end like nobody's business. This boy gets messed around. Like, poor guy just popped into the world like a newborn baby, and so much happened.
Yeah, this first guy is so like, I think he's the most forgettable because he spends his whole first day being like, what the fuck is going on? So you don't really remember Sebastian Bell as like a person as much as you do the other hosts. Like they are much more distinct in my head. But he's really like timid, and you kind of just spend the day meeting everybody and learning drips and drabs of information, but nothing really substantial. He doesn't even know that he's going to be waking up over and over again in different bodies. Like, he never finds any of that out.
And I question why. Like, I think from a writing a book perspective, like, he's a really good character to set the story up, set the setting, the characters. And what they say later is that, oh, well, the plague doctor says, if I had told you what you need to be doing here in Sebastian Bell, he would have just been like, you're crazy and tried to deny it. But I'm like, you chose his hosts. Like, why did you make him totally waste that first day? Like, he didn't try to figure out what was going on at all.
He didn't know he needed to be figuring anything out other than this was weird. I woke up in someone else's body, but he didn't know he had a murder to be solving or
this
was going to happen again tomorrow
morning. He could have used that information because he like spends a lot of time with Evelyn, which is, I think, a very smart move on the author's part to like the very first host make you sympathetic for Evelyn and like her as a person, because then it just, makes the whole thing more of a surprise.
Yeah.
But I'm like, he could have been talking to her. No, if he knew that she would get murdered later, he could have been like questioning her more thoroughly.
Absolutely.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, he definitely figures out a few things that are happening. Like at one point, he's with Evelyn and the name Anna keeps getting thrown about, but nobody knows who Anna is. We just woke up with her name like on our tongue, not knowing who she is or why. And then we keep getting like notes from her. And like one of the first like moments where you're feeling like, okay, this is like a time loop.
Oh.
And future selves like know what's happening is we find a note from her. We go to like write somebody else a note and we flip to a new page and we find a note that says, don't leave Blackheath. More lives than your own are depending on you. Meet me by the mausoleum in the family graveyard at 10:20 p.m. and I'll explain. Also, don't forget your gloves. They're burning because we'd hung our gloves up over the fire to dry out. And I'm like, okay, so I love this. I love these little moments of like your future selves being like, hey, by the way, I can't really explain anything else to you, but you're going to need to know this. And like Anna's not one of our future hosts, but just she's somebody who's clued into what's happening. I love those little moments throughout the book. And that's the first one, I think, really that gets you.
Yeah, I totally agree. A line I had written for Bell was, I think it was towards the end of his chapters. He says, I cannot confront the person I was running from, the life he built. Better to make a stand here, confident of who I wish to become. And that's one of those that I'm like, that was written obviously with the larger picture in mind.
That's very reminiscent of the general like ending concept.
All the way from the beginning. And nothing. I'm like, oh yeah.
Well,
cool.
I mean, literally we read it earlier. The last line of the first chapter is, I'm a man in purgatory, blind to the sins that chase me here. And like, that is essentially what is happening is we are in a sort of inflicted purgatory.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and he leaves those little drips throughout the book that you just don't really pick up on.
No,
because you don't know any better.
Because why would I think?
Oh yes, we are actually in like a Black Mirror style purgatory.
It was feeling Black Mirror, but I did not know how. Well, yeah. I actually don't know if I thought that the first time around. I feel like obviously towards the end, I was like, oh, this is more like Black Mirror. But at the beginning, I was like, this is some cozy little detective murder mystery story. And then it was not.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent. If you've seen Black Mirror, in one of the first few seasons, there's an episode called White Bear. And it's a woman who wakes up with amnesia and she ultimately finds out that she's living the same day repeatedly as part of punishment. And it's like, that's essentially what's happening here. So it is very reminiscent of Black Mirror.
Which one 100%. Came out first? Because that's like...
White Bear came out first.
Wow.
In 2013. Yeah.
Interesting. Because, wow, okay. I didn't realize, because I knew it was like Black Mirror, and I've seen enough of those episodes to get the similarities, but I didn't realize that there was an episode that was like the same.
Yeah. They play out very, very differently.
Yeah.
That one is much more like thriller and like modern day. Have any of the murder mystery sort of elements.
Okay.
Overall, the ultimate concept is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else about Bell? Or do we want to move on to number 2?
Like we said, he's kind of forgettable. Like he's a setup.
Yeah. And I don't think you ever go back into him, right? Like he lives his full day all in one piece.
Mhm.
And when he faints, I think at the end of the day, that's how he ends his day. He passes out from fear, I think.
I know.
He gets back to his room and has a box in his room and it says run rabbit and it says from the Footman and it's like a dead rabbit in a box and he passes out. And that's how his day, and you never go back to his consciousness. So
goodbye.
He's just kind of like wasted. Bless him.
Again, I feel like it's such a missed opportunity because if you did wake back up as Sebastian, Evelyn trusts him and he could go back to her and like, you know. Anyways, your next host is the butler, aka Roger Collins. And this one doesn't last long.
No, well, not at first.
Not at first.
He arguably, like a lot of our hosts end up having really bad days, but this guy has potentially the worst day. There's an argument to be made.
It's actually quite violent, this book.
This book's very violent. So, yeah, within minutes of waking up as the butler, you get beaten to shit with a fire poker.
Yeah.
For seemingly no reason. Like you are just minding your business, you're like a really inoffensive sort of person, and someone just comes up and beats the shit out of you for no reason, and you don't know why.
It's a big ol' yikes.
That's how your morning ends. Moved on to the next host, but you wake back up as the butler 3 or 4 times.
So many times, and each time he's like, "I hurt so bad." I'm like, nah.
He's like in and out of consciousness. Yeah. Every time you wake back up as the butler, you're like, "Oh God," because you're essentially bedridden. Your whole body has been beaten.
Yeah. I did note that before that happens, like the first thing you do as the butler is open the door for yourself as Sebastian Bell. And I was like, oh, this is so cool.
Right. You know, the character doesn't know what's happening at that point. So he wakes up on day 2 as this new person and he's like, okay, who am I? What is happening? He wakes up to a bell ringing and he goes and he answers the front door and it's the guy that you were yesterday. And you're like,
yo.
And everything plays out exactly as it did yesterday.
Very cool.
As Mr. Collins, the butler, that we get a lot more information like from the plague doctor and stuff is when he tells us, you got to solve this murder.
Yeah, you don't do much with him because you can't, but you get a lot of information as him. So there's at one point the plague doctor is there and you're talking to him about like, why am I here? Basically, he says, I'm saying every man is in a cage of his own making. The Aidan Bishop, oh, that's our name, Aidan Bishop.
Yeah.
Who first entered Blackheath. The things he wanted and his way of getting them were unyielding. That man could never have escaped Blackheath. This Aidan Bishop before me is different. I think you're closer than you've ever been, but I've thought that before and been fooled. The truth is you've yet to be tested, but that's coming, and if you've changed, truly changed, then who knows, there may be hope for you. I was like, that's cool. I have no idea what the fuck that means.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with that. Whatever that means. Yeah, you kind of just have to move on, like take that information and be like, okay, and just
it did make me really trust the plague doctor as like a marionette. Like, I got so annoyed with, I guess it's like Aidan, not just his hosts, Aidan's lack of trust in the plague doctor and anything that he was saying and him being like, well, I'm just going to dismiss that and do my own thing. And like, I'm like,
right.
He's the only one giving you answers. It was so frustrating.
Yeah, I think pretty quickly, Aidan decides, I'm not only going to try and solve Evelyn's murder, but I'm going to try to prevent it.
What?
And this is all with the pursuit of, we are told if we solve the murder and tell the plague doctor who the murderer is, that he will let us escape Blackheath. And we eventually decide, okay, we're not only going to solve the murder, but we're going to prevent the murder. And also, we are going to try and help Anna get out of Blackheath as well, because she is also here trying to do the same thing we are, but she's in the same body every day.
Right. And she's meant to be our competition. Right. And I get it from like a moral perspective, but I'm also like, can you use your head? Because this is not giving, this is happening in real time. this is something in the past. I mean, he literally says there was no justice for her murderer. So that is why you're here, to solve it. And he's like, oh, I'm just going to rewrite the past? Like, that's not how it works.
Right. Yeah, he also keeps telling you, like, only one of you can escape. You cannot both escape. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. And you just keep going, well, I hear you, but I don't believe you.
I'll
And
figure
you're
it
just
out.
like, all right, man, sure, I guess. You don't have very much information, but whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, the butler, again, doesn't get a whole lot done. You learn a lot as the butler because you mostly just do a lot of talking when you're in and out of consciousness in your hospital bed. Not even a hospital bed. You're just like in a bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. You kind of come back to him quite a few times, but just for like minutes at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, so the next host, his name is Donald Davies. He's like a young playboy, ritzy kind of dude. And he immediately runs away. And I think that is so relatable.
So
and
valid.
That's what I would do.
I think so. Davies, yeah, he immediately tries to get in a car and drive down the road to leave. And the road is seemingly like endless. And the car eventually runs out of gas or breaks down. And so he gets out and starts walking down the road and just ends up passing out from exhaustion.
So he's not there for most of the book.
Right. You wake
That
up
was
as
it.
him he doesn't wake up until like 8:30 p.m.
Yeah.
So by the time you come back to him, you only have like 2 hours in his body before the day ends. But he plays a big part later on.
Mhm.
The rest of the time is very forgettable because he just tried to bounce. And turns out you can't leave. It's not possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like a road out of Blackheath that goes through the woods, but it doesn't actually go anywhere because this place isn't real.
It feels, they've even used the word purgatory. It feels so much like purgatory. But then they kept making like, well, if this is hell, it's not a very good one, or
Mhm.
they like make jokes about it being hell and not being hell. And so I'm like, okay, I don't think this is meant to be like a level of hell. But I'm like, maybe it's some sort of horrible purgatory. I don't know.
It's hard to say. Yeah. It's hard to kind of land on a theory for that early on in this book.
Yeah. This guy gets warned to not get out of the carriage. And immediately, when he's in a carriage, bro immediately leaps out of the fucking carriage.
He's like, that doesn't apply to me. That was for somebody else. And then immediately gets fucking bodied when he gets out of the carriage. Yeah, I mean,
he does not heed warnings.
what's interesting about moving from host to host is as you go from host to host, you start out where like your mind and your brain and like the way it works when you are in Sebastian Bell is like a little bit Sebastian Bell, but mostly you being like, what is happening? Who am I? Why am I in this body? And then like with each body you occupy, each new one, you feel like you yourself, Aiden Bishop, take up less and less space, and that the host that you're in, like their personality and their thoughts overpower yours. And I think that's a really interesting concept.
It's so neat.
So you like have less and less control over your host as the day goes on, and he ends up really having to kind of like internally fight some of them.
Yeah.
Against like what their instincts tell them to do and like who they are as people. But also like his skill set changes, which is cool.
Yes, it's so neat.
Because like the next host is Ravencourt, and he's
one of my favorites.
Yeah, he's a banker. And I don't love the way he's characterized because he is a fat man. And the language here is very fat phobic. And like, it's very reminiscent to me of how Dudley Dursley was described, in that like, Dudley Dursley is a terrible person, but like his weight doesn't have anything to do with that.
Yeah.
But in those books, I feel like it's written of like, he was horribly fat and that made him disgusting and terrible. And it's very similar here. Like, I feel like Ravencourt you're just disgusted by him the entire time that you're in his body. And it feels very weird.
Yeah, I guess I suppose you're right. I was more thinking along the lines of like, he's disgusted with himself because he's super vain and embarrassed by
He
everything
is.
all the time.
Right. And I think that that's part of it. I guess I don't know. It just didn't sit quite right with me. But
That's
I
fair.
do enjoy Ravencourt's chapters a lot because he's one of the smartest hosts that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a couple really good moments where he kind of like things click into place for you as Ravencourt. And you're like, oh, I do have some control here over like what I can do and things I can manipulate.
Yeah, in the FAQ at the back of the book, the author says that he needed his smartest character to be placed in the story at this point because he's like learning the mechanics of this time loop, but he needed to have some sort of obstacle because he couldn't be super smart and like able to bound around the house. Yeah,
physically able. I just think for me, I think it would have been more interesting to have him be able-bodied or disabled in a different way than just like he's real fat
being
and gross.
super big.
I don't know.
That's
like,
fair. That's totally fair. Yeah.
I think it's more compelling to be like very smart and intelligent, but you have like he has to figure out how to make things work for him and overcome the physical body of Ravencourt because Ravencourt can't really move around all that much. But Ravencourt's chapters are so fun. Like there's a moment where he's like, okay, well, I'm going to write a note in this book and hide it on this bookshelf. I can keep checking this spot because I know it's there. And so my future hosts will know it's there. And we can communicate with each other that way by leaving notes in this secret spot, which is like so smart.
So smart. It does not work.
That doesn't end up panning out.
There's a lot of things that like they start to do that do not work. And it's like a little disappointing. There are reasons for it. Like it's your competition that is like hindering your progress. But I'm like, man, I would have loved to have seen that play out.
Right. It's a great moment. And then he has another really good moment where Ravencourt's valet, like his butler, his name is Cunningham. And you threaten Cunningham and you fully tell him everything that's going on. You tell him I'm waking up as a new person every day. I have other hosts that are me as well. I don't know who all of them are. And of course that sounds crazy. So in order to prove it to him, we like write down the way an entire scene plays out in a different room. And we're like, go over there, watch this play out. And he, you know, then he comes back having seen it play out like word for word and is like, okay, I guess. But I love the moment where we basically blackmail this man because he's like resistant to helping us. And we're like, well, what if I just tell your deepest, darkest secret to everybody? And he's like, well, you don't know my deepest, darkest secret. And he's like, no, but not yet. But you know what? One of my future hosts is going to find out and put it on a piece of paper under your chair. And he like lifts up and it's under there. And I'm just like, oh my God, this just like.
It's so smart. Yeah.
The 4D chess of it all is really fun.
And I love Cunningham.
Yes.
I love him. He's my favorite character. I love that he's just like, all right, fine. I'm on board now. What you want? What you need? I got you.
He just doesn't really falter at any point after that. Like, even though we kind of blackmailed him into helping, he's just like, all right, sure. Yeah, I'll be your feet. What do you need? I'm down.
Yeah.
It's really kind of fun.
It's so fun. We also, in this body, really meet Daniel, who we learn later is one of our competition, not. So what he claims is to be our very last host. And I think they do such a good job of making the reader think that he truly is a future host. Like he's always there. He's very puppet mastery. And I really thought that he was going to be the detective at the end of like, you know, your common classic murder mystery that reveals the whole shebang and how it all happened.
Yeah.
So I didn't suspect him.
Real good.
Yeah.
I believed it. I ate it up.
Yep.
Yep. I was like, ooh, I can't wait to be Daniel. You're never Daniel.
You're never Daniel.
You trusted him and he used that to his advantage and pretends to be one of your future hosts. But in fact, he is working against you.
You know, when my mom read this, she was reading it at my house and she said, I kept counting like how many hosts we'd had and how many we'd figured out are left to go. And it wasn't adding up.
See, I was not doing all that.
I know, me either.
Not until you only had like so many left was I like, okay, that doesn't seem right. But like the first few, I was like, I'm not.
No.
That's It's not my business. Yeah. I think there's a moment when you're Ravencourt, or it might be when you're Davies. I can't remember which host you have a conversation with Evelyn, but this moment is, I think, another one of those very foreshadowy moments where you ask Evelyn, who has a terrible relationship with her parents, why did you come back? Like, what is this party? And you find out like, oh, this party actually is on the anniversary of the murder of Evelyn's younger brother, who died like
11 years?
Like a long time ago.
Yeah.
When they were kids. I think she was like 12 or so when he died. And he's like, well, that seems really cruel of your parents. Why would they do it? And she says, my mother sent me a message this morning asking me to meet her by the lake. She says, she never came, and I don't think she ever meant to. She just wanted me to stand out there where it happened, remembering. And you, as a reader at this point, are thinking, that's so cruel. Evelyn is just put in this place to like be in like torment over her brother's murder and like how awful of an experience it was for her. But you find out later that ain't what was happening. but it's so interesting.
But Evelyn is Felicity. So why would Felicity know that?
I mean, I'm sure she read the note as well.
Oh, true.
And she's playing Evelyn. So Evelyn's supposed, we're dropping some like big
sorry,
but there's no way we can explain all of this. But
I didn't catch that when it was said. So,
but yeah, I think so. She's just giving the reaction of like what she thinks Evelyn would say about that sort of thing, and I don't think she knows that Evelyn murdered her brother. So she's just like, oh yeah, like that was just a really manipulative and horrible thing for our mother to do. Is just like be alone out by the lake where our brother was murdered. It turns out like.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's a little bit in the next host too that. Well, I mean, I have to give spoilers in order to talk about this. I guess I just did. So forward. Felicity Maddox is playing Evelyn. So Evelyn is not Evelyn. Evelyn is a fake maid of Evelyn named Madeline.
Madeline
right?
Aubert. Yeah.
Yeah. So every time you're with Evelyn, it is actually somebody else playing her. So there's a little bit in the next host that it's like the reread was so cool for these reasons, because there's a part where she's like coveting Millicent's jewelry box, like looking at it like longingly. And our host like, gives some like excuse or justification for this. But rereading it, that it's actually because this person who's playing Evelyn is not rich. And so she, wants
She's
desires
just like a
that
professional
life.
con artist. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was so cool.
Yeah. There's so many of those moments like sprinkled through. It does pay off on a reread, I have to say.
Yeah.
This next host, I think, is possibly the worst one.
He's terrible. He's so terrible.
This is the first time you find yourself really having to like restrain against the host, because this guy's super violent, super like sexually aggressive.
He's
like
very rapey.
Everybody knows he's like a known rapist, and like his mother's rich and she just keeps getting him out of it in various ways, paying their way out of it.
There's a line. It said, whatever darkness lurks inside Jonathan Derby, Millicent tucked it in at night. Which is such a good line.
His mom just enables him to do everything, and he's horrible to be in. But like, it's interesting because Aiden Bishop, like our character, ourself, like we aren't like that. So we fight against him. So it's like you keep having these like violent urges and tendencies, but we're like reeling ourselves in the whole time. So it's not like we ever actually do anything terrible as Derby, but Derby is just such a disgusting individual that the whole day we're just like repulsed by his thoughts and stuff.
Which is really interesting to read about. Like,
it is
third person hating the person that you are inhabiting. Like, what a weird concept.
It's just, I don't know if I've ever encountered that in any other story, really. Like that sort of playing against each other. There's a line late in the book after I think you've had almost all of your hosts, and it says, I can feel every one of my hosts pressed up against the inside of my skull. Their memories crowd the edges of my mind, the weight of them almost too much to bear. I want everything they want. I feel their aches and I'm made timid by their fears. I'm no longer a man. I am a chorus. And that's so cool.
It's so cool. Yeah. See, I can just see it on the screen where like in the background, the other hosts are like talking to him in his mind. They all walk back up to the house together. Make me the director. I got this.
Right? Like if we had that producer money, if only.
Yeah. Yeah, he's terrible because it's also like it's not just that he thinks very horrible thoughts about other people. It's that he can't concentrate on anything for too long. And so he's very flighty. So the things that you set out to do as him, you don't end up doing because he's too bored too quickly. Like he cannot sit there. And so that's his obstacle.
It's cool. The next two hosts, I think, were like my two favorites. They are like kind of breaths of fresh air as far as like competence and like overall character. Like they are decent people. The next one is a man named Edward Dance, who's like a much older gentleman. He's a lawyer. He's a lawyer to Lord Hardcastle. And he just does a lot of talking. Like nothing crazy exciting happens in his chapters, but you learn a lot of information.
He annoyed me though. I know he's not like, compared to the others, he's great.
Right. Comparatively
But he has an intense pride. And it's like debilitating in stupid ways. Like he realizes that his host refuses to get glasses because it's a sign of weakness. And I'm like, bro, it's not that deep. Just get the fucking glasses.
Just get the glasses so you can see.
It's like annoying.
And then the next one, who I 100% in my head, this next host was Simon Pegg's character from Hot Fuzz. Like he was just Nicholas Angel. Because he's like a really competent, effective, methodical police constable.
Yes.
And so when you're in his body and in his mind, you like start interpreting all of these things that you've known all day as actual clues, and you really start putting things together as this character, and it's so satisfying when like, things like really start falling and you start seeing stuff for what it is.
He's my other favorite.
Because I think it's in this body, this host, that you really put the whole first who killed Evelyn Hardcastle mystery together, right? Like you initially solved that.
Yeah. The author does this thing where his character will figure it out, but he won't tell you as the reader. Because he does that like classic trope of a grand reveal in like one fell swoop. So Rashton figured it out before we did.
Yeah. And you sort of watch him kind of trap the murderer without knowing that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And you're finding out as the murder is happening. And you're like, oh, we already know who did it. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then after that, he becomes like Blanc in your last host, where he's like, it's a donut. And there's a hole at the center, but the donut hole is got another hole.
It's a mystery within a mystery. Right. Yeah. So yeah, I like this reveal. I think this first reveal of like figuring out who murdered Evelyn is a really fun scene because turns out like the way she dies every night is she walks out by this big reflecting pool and like shoots herself in the stomach and supposedly commits suicide. It's not a suicide, it's a murder, but you have to figure out how. And yeah, Rashton figures it out and we end up helping Evelyn fake a suicide so that we can trap the murderer in his plot. And like that's a huge reveal. And then it like 1-2 punches you because you're like, oh my God, he figured it out. And then both the murderer and Evelyn end up getting poisoned at the same time. And he's like,
yeah.
That's a really fun scene. It really does play out like a movie in my head. I really can like see everything so clearly. The writing in this is so descriptive. Yeah, I loved that whole first like reveal.
Yeah.
And it turns out, as we've kind of mentioned, that like Evelyn isn't Evelyn. Somebody's pretending to be Evelyn. So that's not actually the answer of who killed Evelyn Hardcastle. So you have to keep kind of working.
Right. But it's also interesting because the plague doctor didn't know that. So he didn't know that Evelyn wasn't Evelyn.
Right.
So he took this first answer and was like, bet, good job. You can leave.
And we're like,
no.
We don't want to.
We did not fully figure it out. Also, we're obsessed with Anna.
Yeah. It's at this point, you still don't fully know like that you're in a purgatory, but you know that you're technically allowed to leave, but you choose to stay to try and figure out the full mystery and to help Anna escape as well. And at this point, you only have one host left.
Yeah.
Which is an artist by the name of Gregory Gold. And it turns out this person is who beat the shit out of the butler earlier in the day.
Yeah.
There's reasons that like go into that as to like why you decide to beat yourself up.
I don't know that it was super necessary, in my opinion.
No, I think it's a little bit contrived. Just for the sake of adding confusion and like adding
drama
opportunities to come in and out of like the butler and get fed information in pieces. But their ultimate goal was just like, oh, we need Gregory Gold, the artist, and the butler to both be like
alive,
but like protected in a way and separated from everybody else. So the solution we come up with is to, beat the shit out of the butler so that we basically get tied up and he gets taken to be, healed. And there had to be a better way to do that. There had to
be a better way of doing that, right? Yeah. I will say the Footman, because they're worried that the Footman is just going to immediately kill them.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, the Footman is my least favorite part of this book. He's so violent.
He's terrifying, actually.
There's no real reason for it. And they waste so much time and energy on trying to trap him or like get back at him. And it never, ever works. So it's just like, I was so over his character.
For most of the book, the Footman operates as like the main villain, even though he's working for Daniel, is what you find out. And like Daniel's basically told him, stop us at any opportunity we can. And he doesn't do that by just like knocking us out. He like murders you in very violent,
terrible,
bloody ways. He's actually
he
terrifying.
Taunts you, and
I feel like if they did a show, you could make this character actually like so scary and intimidating, and like he is like a constant threat.
Yeah,
he's not trying to escape Blackheath. He's not in purgatory. He's just like a character that's playing out over and over in this purgatory he's not actually in control of like things that happen or changing the day. He's like an NPC in a video
happens to be the perfect horrible murderer serial killer that Daniel could find that was just there at this event.
Right.
Yeah. I get why he's there. I didn't like it though.
Oh yeah. It's I
and it just took away from the mystery. I'm like, why are we chasing this man? I want to find out what happened to Evelyn. I don't care.
Right. I don't care about the Footman. I just want to avoid him. I don't care about trapping him. Like,
and then if you trap him one day, he's just going to be loose the next. Like,
right.
Do we understand the time loop yet?
Exactly. Yeah. Those are the hosts. And like, I mean, I feel like it builds up to this big ending. And I feel like the ultimate reveal and the biggest final reveal is basically that Evelyn is not Evelyn. She's a con artist that's been playing Evelyn. And that Evelyn's maid is the real Evelyn Hardcastle. We have a big confrontation with her and she ends up getting murdered right in front of us. So that's the actual final answer of like who killed Evelyn Hardcastle. And Anna and us are both there at the same time. And I feel like it builds up for like 95% of the book. And then this ending, it happens so quickly.
It does. It's like in the last chapter, literally the last chapter, and then it's over.
It feels like whiplash a little bit.
It does.
The ultimate resolution of like finding out the actual answer of who killed Evelyn and then escaping. And then the reveal of you are in this like purgatory that is some sort of form of capital punishment.
Yeah.
Essentially.
It's for criminals.
It's ultimately revealed that Anna is like an international war criminal.
Super bad. They made her sound like low-key like Hitler or something.
Right. Like this woman committed actual atrocities and was sent to this purgatory. And like the only way that she can escape is to solve this murder. There's a line here that I wrote because I feel like it encapsulates it in general. Do you know how you can tell if a monster's fit to walk the world again, Mr. Bishop? If they're truly redeemed and not just telling you what you want to hear. You give them a day without consequences, and you watch to see what they do with it. And so that is like,
Yeah.
in a nutshell, like the concept of this form of capital punishment is we trap these criminals' like consciousness in these purgatory where they're living the same days over and over again. And it's not until they fundamentally change as people that we allow them to leave.
And they're also trying to solve these murders that actually happened and went unsolved.
Mm-hmm. At one point we ask him, are there other places like this? And he says, thousands. I've seen a village that wakes up each morning with 3 headless bodies in the square and a series of murders on an ocean liner. There must be 15 prisoners attempting to solve that one. So they are just locked in these unsolved mysteries. So Anna's a terrible war criminal. Aidan Bishop, innocent man who apparently had a sister that was murdered by Anna in real life and volunteered to insert ourselves in this purgatory so that we could
punish her,
enact our own like personal revenge,
just
and
torture her day after day, which we don't have our memories.
Right.
So
there's several times throughout the book where Anna remembers you murdering her.
Yeah.
This version of Aidan Bishop, who doesn't remember any of that, is like, why would I do that? You're my ally. We've been helping each other all day long. And it's not until this moment that you realize like, oh, he just came in here and murdered her over and over and over and over again.
Yeah. I do have a lot of thoughts. I mean, obviously I really, really enjoyed this book, but that was because of the quality of writing. And I'm with you. I really liked the first reveal of, in quote unquote real life, how this murder happened, us solving that.
Yes.
It was the how do we now get out of Blackheath together part that I think fell a little short.
The end, it feels rushed.
It does. And it feels like there are quite a few holes. And especially on the reread, I was like, because I kind of trusted Anna from the beginning the first time through. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, I'm on board. And then I lent this book to a friend. And she read it and she was like so distrustful of Anna the entire time. And she hated that she gets out at the end. And I was like, interesting. So on this reread, I was really trying to look for like the decisions that Anna makes, because the whole thing is, do they deserve to get out? Have they become a good person now? And I'll be honest, I think the answer is no.
Yeah. And I think that was my main thing I bounced off of my original reaction to the ending is, I'm sorry if you have an international war criminal who's committed atrocities, a Hitler type.
No.
I don't know that I personally believe in the sort of rehabilitation where like we can just let that person loose again.
Leave. Yeah. And
I certainly don't believe in like the death penalty or anything, but like I just
letting them roam free again. Like, and I don't think that in her core, she really has changed, because while she was loyal to Aidan, she still had that darkness inside of her and she murdered people for him. She was cruel to people without guilt. He even said, I can tell she doesn't feel remorse for these things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, helping Aidan is just another way to justify her actions. Like, I'm sure before she was justifying it with whatever the fuck bullshit. So
100%. I agree. I totally agree. She's very cutthroat throughout the book. And like, it's all in pursuit of helping you. So from your character's perspective, you don't really think of her as like dangerous or unstable, but like she is. And I don't think she's rehabilitated. And there's a whole conversation at the end of like, when Aidan and Anna leave, they get to choose basically of getting their actual memories returned to them from their actual life, where they, you know, where she was an international war criminal and he had like a sister that was murdered. And they both kind of essentially choose to not do that and just proceed with whatever memories they're carrying through from Blackheath. So it's like essentially you're releasing this person who I think has all of the innate, like a recipe to be a war criminal, but like hasn't evolved to that. Like, I don't know. Like she just, she has that nugget of, I don't know.
It's still in her. And letting them out together has doomed Aidan to a life of being on the run, protecting this woman that he once hated.
I mean, she's an international war criminal. Like, they're going to leave Blackheath, leave this facility where this is being done, and be on the run from essentially the entire world for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
She doesn't remember committing these war crimes, but the rest of the world remembers her committing these war crimes.
And it sounds like they were on tape, so they can both just go look.
Yeah, just Google yourself, girl, and be like, oh.
And then what? And then what? And
yeah, it really crumbles and falls apart at the very, very end. And it's a bummer because I really enjoyed the entire ride other than
the last
this.
chapter, literally.
And it's not like I even hate the concept of the Black Mirror style concept of like this being like a criminal punishment, purgatory kind of thing. I think you just have to leave that open-ended.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that they like made choices and released them, and
yeah,
you don't see any of that happen. You know that that's what they're going to choose.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it weakens the story a lot.
I agree. And his decision to go into Blackheath in the first place, I also think is quite weak. Like, what put him there in the first place? Because the plague doctor's like, I'm trying to help you because it was wrong to let you in the first place. Yeah, fucking duh it was. There's no way. There's no way that a criminal justice system would be like, yes, it's okay that you go into this simulation.
Mm-hmm.
No.
The book is worth your time for the first 97% of it, because it's a really fun ride.
It is.
Learning each new host and like learning more about the day and the loop. And I love that sort of knowledge-based progress in movies and shows and games and stuff. Like, it's so satisfying. And I think it works in this book, even though the ending doesn't quite land.
And I do feel like there's a little bit of something to be desired also from the plot holes wise. Like, okay, for starters, if this kind of simulation is possible within the technology of this world, why are detectives not using it to solve these crimes?
Why is it a purgatory for criminals? I guess it's free labor. We love to make criminals do slave labor, essentially.
Yeah, I guess, but it just seems like...
It seems like technology that we could use to really dive in
actually
to unsolved crimes and send the actual
also,
detectives in.
Right? And it seems like they also did not even know about Peter and Helena Hardcastle's deaths/disappearances.
And the little boy.
So, like, surely for real life justice, we would have known about those and let these people know that there's actually 3 murders that will take place, not just one.
Right. Yeah. That's such a valid point, actually.
So,
like, just let a detective voluntarily enter this world every day and then come back at the end of the day and go home to his normal life and just like day by day chip away at
figure it out.
Why aren't we doing it? Why are we doing it this way?
I mean, it's not even like she hid those bodies so that they disappeared. They're in the boathouse and there's a note on Peter Hardcastle's in that house. They would 100% know that on that day 3 people died and we're only there to solve one.
Yeah.
So it would be like the Hardcastle murders, the whole family, not just, Yeah. Yeah, and I want to know, I wish there was a bit of an epilogue because I want to know, did they go get Evelyn? Did old Evelyn get caught and brought to justice?
Yeah, did they end up catching her?
Because she doesn't die, because that's not real. That's a simulation. Like, I get the whole, you need to tell me who killed Evelyn Hardcastle, and that's how Anna escapes. But I'm like, yeah, but that's not real.
Yeah, so this person still needs to be brought to justice. unless yeah. I mean, that for sure. I was just thinking, like, how long ago did this happen?
Right, that's true.
Are we just doing this for answers at this point? Not necessarily for justice, but for, like, just to find out what happened?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not, none of that is gone. You don't go into any of that.
We
are, like, fully expanding on, like, what is possible here.
And I'm like, cool, you've given me this dystopian, super advanced world with an old-timey, like, cozy murder mystery case, and I really like the meshing of those two things, but I do not feel that it was that opportunity was explored enough, like fleshed out enough.
I want this technology so that I can live out a fully immersive murder mystery party. That's not like a real murder, but like,
right.
can you imagine like the murder mystery party potential? Not using real people's murders, obviously.
Oh my God, no.
No, what I mean.
This story is so violent. We don't want
just
this.
want like an alternate reality that's like so immersive that I could do, I think that would be so fun. But
yeah.
What's your rating?
It's like I want to rate it before the end and then after the end.
Yeah.
Before the end would be high. It would be like 4.5. After the end, gosh, I still really enjoyed it. Like 3.5 to 4-ish.
Yeah, that's right where I am. So when I read this, I just went back in my Instagram stories and looked. I rated this a 3.5 in 2022. And back then I was just rating on like gut and vibes.
Yeah.
And like these days I have like an actual, because I'm a nerd, I have like an actual like mathematical formula for how I calculate my book ratings. And this one is now a 4.1.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely would have rated it higher, but I bounced off the ending the first time, so it got a lower rating. And then this time the ending, because it was expected, I think I wasn't as offended by it. And also the reread was so fun.
It was
picking up all the little moments.
Yeah.
That it brought it higher. So I landed on a 4.1.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's good.
I think it would be an excellent TV show.
Yes.
And especially if you could make a show and then either like expand upon the ending or alter the ending slightly where it doesn't leave you feeling...
Needs to be a little bit more earned. Don't make her an international war criminal. Or
maybe if you just scaled back her crimes.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that would solve so many of my issues.
If you, as the character, didn't see darkness still within her, or, things like that.
I fully believe you can rehabilitate somebody, and I would love to see prison reform turn into that in our real world. But, like, maybe not for the international.
Maybe.
I don't know, like, scale back her murder, or like her crime.
Yeah, minor tweaks, but it would make a big difference.
It would make such a good TV show. It really would.
Alrighty.
Well, I think that's it for us for this episode. We'll be back with another one in 2 weeks, and we'll be chatting all about Wake Up Dead Man.
Woohoo!
Knives Out 3.
Please watch it.
Please watch it.
It is well worth your time.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah, spoilers, we really like it.
It's so good. Yes.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye. Many thanks to Kindle for editing our pod and for our lovely theme songs. Thank you to Cozy Snail Designs for our cozy cover art. You can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/senior detectives. We are also on Twitter at SNR_detectives, TikTok at SNR Detectives Pod, and on Instagram at Senior Detectives Pod. See you there.